Hello, and welcome back to Even More News, the first and only news podcast. My name is Katy Stoll.
That's right, it is, and that's right, the show is. And that's right, it's me also, Cody Johnston, from the show that you just mentioned. Hello, Katy.
America's beloved Cody Johnston, folks. And do not fret, Jonathan is also here.
Hi.
Hi, Jonathan.
I was fretting, but now I'm not.
Oh, we've got an interesting, fantastic show for you today. In a moment, the boys will be joined by CNN's Kate Bolduan. She will be coming on and they have an interview. I, however, will not be present for that interview as I will be on a flight across the country. My very first flight since 2019, so...
Really?
Really. If the plane goes down, I'm saying this with all seriousness, you do need to play Isn't It Ironic at my funeral. And it's okay because I'm asking for it. Maybe this will get cut because it's bad luck. Anywho.
I mean, we'll know what the outcome of the flight is in the morning. So I think we'll keep it in if you survive. And if you perish, we'll cut it because that's in poor taste.
But you still need to play it.
Am I in charge of the song at your funeral?
Presumably one of you will be able to contact my parents who will be...
Right, because then we have to call your parents and be like, so I think at the funeral, I think she'd really enjoy if we played it.
Show them
hey,
the clip.
This is Jonathan. I'm on I work with, I'm sorry, I work with your daughter. I'm very integral to what she does. Anyway, that's fine. That's fine.
That's a big part of her life. It's fine.
Grieving. That's fine. Anyway, she wants this song. I'm quoting her now. Isn't It Ironic by Alanis Morissette. I'm assuming that's
that's the one. Thank you.
That's the song.
Thank you. If you can get Alanis, that'd be even better.
You guys want to hear a quick late stage capitalism thing?
Sure.
Yeah.
So
why did I say it like that?
The Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl a few months ago, which means they get the first game of the season. They get the kickoff game. They're hosting the Dallas Cowboys on Thursday night. And SEPTA, the railway in the Metro Subway Railway in Philadelphia, is having some budget cutbacks. They're having some issues. And so the city and the team were like, don't take SEPTA to the game on Thursday night unless you have tickets. Don't come to tailgate. Don't come to the area because there's not going to be as much service as usual. It's going to be really rough. And so FanDuel stepped in and is like, we're going to pay so that service can resume as normal so that everyone who wants to can be in the area of Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia Thursday night. So the gambling app is doing what the government is finding it's unable to do, budget cutbacks.
For one day.
For the one night. Just so
for the
you
one
can,
night, right. Not even.
So you can go and drink, and it's free rides home and everything. So good. That's good.
Good business strategy for them. Also, yes, now this company is doing what the government should be doing bad. All right, well, now it's time for the guys to chat with someone else named Kate. But we're going to, at the end of the show, it'll be me again with them to talk about the news, which we're going to record right now. Don't worry about it. It's going to make sense when you see it all laid out. Okay, bye.
All right, we are back. We are here. And we are excited to announce our guest. She is the co-anchor of CNN News Central weekday mornings on CNN. She also hosts the daily 5 Things series on CNN Max. It's Kate Bolduan.
It was kind of like, who could it be? Who could do?
People are narrowing it down. Don Lemon, is that right? No, that can't be right at this point. No.
Don Lemon, Jake Tapper. You said she, so yeah, it's like,
Not
and
Cuomo.
no, it's like, it's Kate. Sorry.
I think we'll be talking about this in an overarching way the whole time, but this is a weird time to be a cable news anchor, right? How do you feel like you're adapting, all of you, and what's the strangest or hardest thing about reporting the news in the Trump 2.0 era?
Best way to ask a question is when you already know the answer. Like, you're like, it's a strange time to be in the news, right? Stop there. Yes.
Agree.
It is a strange time for lots of reasons, right? The industry's changing, transitioning, and the news is a lot. So I often describe it as you're just drinking from a fire hose. So you buckle up, and you just get back to the basics, which is know your facts, check your facts. And for me, I just try to take myself out of it. Like I just remove myself from the equation, and who cares about Kate's feelings or who cares about anything? Just get to the facts and just stay there and navigate the daily as well as possible. And that is kind of it's different for everybody on how you navigate it, because you report on a president because he's a president and has and decisions impact all of our lives. You make editorial decisions because you're in control of your show. So do you read every Truth Social on air because it's said by the president who you have to cover? That's your editorial choice. I think decisions during the first administration on that question there are lessons learned, and it's done differently this administration. And you just keep at it, because as we always say, by 10 a.m. you gotta. For me, it's over at 10 a.m. Just kidding, and then you got to do it again tomorrow.
Yeah, is that how difficult is that? Because I know that we have, it is definitely a different administration now, in a lot of ways, and at this point, he's been the president once before, and then he wasn't for a while, and he was less in our face, but then he came back, and a lot of his behaviors and things he says have been so normalized to the point where it's reported often like, well, Trump said this thing, and a lot of people think that it's good and normal, and instead of sort of like you're saying, stating just the facts of it, like Trump said this, but it's not true. I think we keep seeing a lot of headlines and things that don't necessarily get to the point where you have to see, oh, Trump said this thing. Well, I need to go 3 paragraphs down to find out if it's even accurate. Do you find that frustrating? Do you find it easy? Do you think about that a lot, of just sort of like this sane washing of Trump that has happened up to this point, and how to accurately and responsibly report on it, without being like, well, both sides are saying that it's actually constitutional, and who knows if it is?
So when I approach it, I do it this way, right? Facts. There are facts. But as we are also learning, there are boundaries that have been assumed that can be pushed that have never been tested. So facts will change, right? Like you can impose tariffs on the globe, and you're bringing in a bunch of tariff revenue that you actually did, that a lot of people said wasn't possible, wasn't going to happen, and isn't legal.
And the Congress is supposed to do exactly, yeah.
And it's supposed, right? And so the legal is still being tested, right? But also with I use the word humility, with the humility of 50% of the country said yes, please again.
A little less.
Yeah. A little less.
But you see what I'm saying? Like
75 million, so on. Yeah.
You have a large portion of the country which, as a person on television, could be viewers, as a person who is a journalist who is reporting to these people. I come from Indiana. A lot of people I know voted for Trump first time and this time. So you need to do it with the humility of people know what they voted for. People know what they got. People know what they got. And they want, and when it comes to the way it's said, they either do not care how he says it, and they just care about what it means for their lives, and they move on, and the policies that they believe. So I approach it with that humility of like, we have to give the facts, but if a show of constant fact check I mean, I've learned how to do it faster. Like, let me sum it up that way. I've learned how to do it faster, which is, that's not right.
Right,
literally.
They're not going to agree with you that that's not right and move on.
It's not right.
You can't debate with the audience on whether or not it's right or not, because it is or it isn't. You say it. And,
the normal question is one that I will. That's harder because the reason why is Congress, because there is a huge portion of what is then become normal because Congress has abdicated their jobs. It is becoming normal because they're allowing it, and it doesn't. And no matter if it's Kate Bolduan or anybody, if you're saying like, this isn't normal,
right? Nobody cares anymore,
right? I mean, what do people listen to? That's a big question.
A little stunning, and 10 years is a long time, but it also feels like the blink of an eye in terms of how much things have shifted. I want to play a clip this is from 2016. It's you interviewing Stephen Miller, who was then working for then primary candidate Donald Trump. He was doing well. He was not yet the candidate. And this kind of feels like a relic of a lost time.
So, Stephen, this all could have ended yesterday. This could have ended with our conversation because this could have ended because the candidates could have ended it. But Donald Trump then sent out the retweet. No need to spill the beans. The images are worth 1,000 words. Explain the retweet. Explain this coming from Donald Trump.
I think the retweet speaks for itself. There was a vicious, mean-spirited, uncalled for attack on Mr. Trump's wife, and it was a personal attack about her image and appearance, and so he responded as any normal person would.
Why does Donald Trump want to continue to talk about this? Because as I look at this retweet as a woman, it's demeaning to not only Ted Cruz's wife, it's demeaning to Melania Trump because she's got a lot more going for her than just her looks, and you don't see that in this retweet. And yes, we will agree on one thing. Put politics out of this. You and I are not going to agree on endorsing something that is demeaning to women, including Donald Trump's wife.
Women want safe communities. Women want safe communities. They want better jobs. They want security. And I couldn't agree with that more. And the campaign, we are going to be the best administration for women's issues in this country.
Okay, so you're still doing that job where you interview people and you're, speaking truth to power.
You interview people, yes.
But can you? Well, that's But but it seems like another universe where Donald Trump would say or tweet something sexist and it would be a big story. Like, it almost seems like that couldn't happen anymore. Do you think it could?
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I look at that. I want to actually now go back and look at the full interview. I'm sure that I actually will say, did that become the full interview?
No. The clip I grabbed from Media Matters was more than 4 minutes long. I did cut out Stephen Miller's responses where he goes to talk about
I'm not criticizing you at all. I'm because this actually speaks to the answer. I somewhat see that on my part is I could and should have done better, because what the lesson from how I approach, let's say, Stephen Miller, who I've known since he was an aide to Jeff Sessions on Capitol Hill, or anybody. Take Stephen Miller's names out of it. But I will say this, that when you let it become one, answer the question, trying to get this one question to get to what is the obvious answer, which is, this is sexist, but I'm not going to get in the way of my boss. If he had said that in the first answer, I would have moved on, right? But he didn't. Then I spent, 3 minutes saying, see reality, without, and I didn't talk about anything else. So maybe something else came in. And that I now approach it differently with a lot of people. And you will see that. And now I just say, like, you're wrong. It's wrong. You're saying you're not answering, and so I'm going to go do this. And that's kind of the lesson.
But I do think there's value, though, right? In doing that, in making this guy, and we all know him very, very well now, making this guy have to continue to spin around it and get off of the fact that that the candidate for the president of the United States was like, well, my opponent's wife is ugly, or my opponent's wife is uglier than my wife, who is hot, which is, as you pointed out to him, offensive on multiple levels. I do think there's value in like making that the interview. The same way I think Terry Moran on ABC News, once Trump said no, MS-13's on his knuckles, should have dropped everything, in my opinion, and just stuck with that. But he said, no, we got to move on to Ukraine.
Let me add one more into this. I also could say that you just stop the interview. Like, I've kind of moved to, this is one of the lessons from Donald Trump when he says 2 weeks or he says something else. I say this is the Donald Trump version of saying no comment, and this is the version of saying. So it is, you're not answering the question, and you can just end it. Like, that is the better. I have done that with members of Congress.
And just stating, like, you are not answering the question that I asked, and that is your choice. And
because in the university we work in, right, I've got that show was 1 hour. This show is 3 hours. But still, that sounds like a million years, right, to a lot of people. But you time a show to seconds. So I could use that time to talk about something else. Talk about fact, like it's fact checked. Stephen Miller is not going to state the reality that is sexist and that is wrong. And he's saying it to a woman who has faced all of those things. Okay. Save the time, grab it back and go do a story on, I don't know, a Chuck E. Cheese. Literally the mascot was arrested in a parking lot. It was a story I did today, and there's body cam video of it. And a bunch of kids had to watch Chuck E. Cheese get hauled out of Chuck E. Cheese. Like, literally, that's a better use of time.
Is that an ICE
just
arrest
normal,
or a different?
Normal police?
Well, you were quick, dude. No, it was bank fraud. It was credit card fraud.
Okay. Oh, Chuck E. Cheese did bank fraud.
Yeah, he had to get that cheese.
But I thought there was a Chuck E. Cheese that got hauled away by ICE in front of kids, but that might be one of my,
I will, potentially, right? In the universe of possibility, potentially. But no, this Chuck E. Cheese stole someone's credit card, allegedly. And he's out on bond right now. But like, I use that as the extreme example of like, take back the time. What does senators say? I heard everyone saying it today. Like, I reserve my time. Can I have my time back? Take back the time. He's not going to answer the question.
We've talked before about some particular people that are on a lot of these shows and debates and stuff on CNN. Scott Jennings is a new face on the scene. And you've actually done this sort of thing before with him. There's a clip where he's being, I would say, dishonest and smug about his dishonesty. And you sort of stop him and like, we're going to move on, zip it. Stop talking is what you tell him to do, and then you move on. It does seem very effective in certain cases. This is actually a two-part question. So my first question is stuff like that for certain people sometimes very satisfying? And next time, could you just tell him to shut the fuck up, please? But my real question...
I am going to text Scott Jennings that right now.
Please do.
I've known Scott for a very long time. So you will.
Well, we're not going to, we've got our opinions of people.
Yeah. I mean, lots of people want to tell me to shut the fuck up too. So,
sure.
Keep asking the question. Part one is it satisfying? Part two is...
At what point do situations like this sort of lead you to like, well, why even bother with this person? Like Stephen Miller is, on the show, he's in the administration stuff. But like if someone is regularly, at what point is it like, well, why are we doing this even? What are we doing here? Why are you here?
A little bit of it is sometimes you got to have people on, right? Like you can say like, if you literally are Peter Navarro and you are in charge of trade, no matter what whatever Peter Navarro said in my last interview, like you still bring them on because they are in this position. A political commentator is very different. I would also argue a member of Congress is different. Here's the example. The zip it and the stop talking, I will say, is literally never planned. Sometimes there is a version of Kate that just happens and comes out with, like, we have to all have, you guys have filters. You're thinking something right now and you're not saying it to me, what you think about me. So we all have filters.
No. It's a podcast. We just go. There's never any blowback or what. I don't know what you're talking about.
There's no filters. We all have filters, and it's my job to, like, distill and let people speak. But sometimes it has ended. That is actually probably, now that we're putting this all together in a funny way, the growth from 2016 till now. It's just like take back the time. And you also have a choice to not have people on again. So there have been, as you guys are looking at finding old stuff that I've done or made news on, there are people that if they do not respect people, and it's not about my feelings, it's about does their opinion matter? Okay. And I won't have them on anymore. I would prefer to not have some people on just to, like, let's have this person on to opine on news of day, right? Those people don't get that invitation because why? Why, if you've truly come on and, like, there's a couple names of people that have just literally been like, you are a stupid person on television.
Yeah.
And I may be a stupid person, but I'm a stupid person with a television show. So, don't come on, don't come on stupid people's TV shows. And so that's the difference.
Sort of on that point, because you went to school for journalism, like you went to college for, like, journalism and political science, and I think, like, right out of college you, like, worked at, like, local stations and were doing producing and like being, like, doing what I think 20, 30 years ago we would say is, like, that's what you do if you want to be a journalist. That's not really the case anymore. Do you find it, because you are very, straightforward, and you just say the things, and that's very rare these days, increasingly. Do you find it frustrating, and, like, where you're like, maybe not saying talk about your colleagues, but some people in your industry is like, well, you didn't even learn, like, the ethics of journalism. You're a personality. There's so many personalities who, there's the independent media. There's a lot of personalities, and they've been bubbling up and seeping into these more, like, quote unquote serious institutions of news and journalism. And what's that like? Is that a consideration that people make in calling people on or hiring people, or, like, this ecosystem where you did all the things to be a journalist, and then you have people now who are like, well, I was a lawyer, but now I got so many opinions and I want to share them, so now I'm a news person, The
great part is there's room for everybody. There's room for everyone. You guys get to decide if you think it is a good thing that I'm not left, I'm not right. Everyone can think what they want of me. I'm not I come from a Republican state. I live in a liberal city. Whatever. You can, and that I decidedly try to give people information and try to not be the news. You get to decide if you like it, if you don't, and if you think it is, I don't know, career security or career sabotage, whatever. I don't want to be clickbait. I don't want to be clickbait. I don't, and I actually, I don't want to be clickbait. I respect work, and I don't want to, but there are a lot more people who are going to know a lot more other names. You're going to say Kate Bolduan, and be like, what?
And is like a thing in the world. You say CNN, everyone has like an idea of what that is. The president has a name for the network you're on, right? You're fake news CNN. You go on TV every morning and you're like, the big guy could be watching, and has he ever gone after you specifically? What's the thought process of like, I'm doing my job and I could become the story at any minute if some guy feels like it?
There's fun theories, actually, that, I'm cute and so he's going to watch. And that's why people, when they were auditioning for to try to be his next VP, that's why they wanted to come on my show.
Did you get a lot of potential VPs in that period?
I did. A lot of people actually requesting, there are three of us, requesting to be on with me.
Got that Fox News vibe to him, awesome. I'm sure. Yeah, it feels
Do you not see that back there? It's all about, yeah. It actually says a lot about Fox News. It's a joke from an SNL cold open from the 2016 that is like the embodiment of all. Anyway, I get up. No, I do not think about that every day. That I get up and I could be the news. Because, okay, fine. Like, fine.
Yeah, you're reporting the news.
Fine. Yeah. Like, fine. Some people try to piss off Donald Trump so they can be the news. So he will say something. It is like a career boost for if he tweets about them.
Right. And I think that's the thing that like gets to me is there are people in the media. It should get to you. Well, right. Like, because it's not a game. The big criticism of the media right now is like they're not meeting this moment. This is a particular moment. Who knows what things are going to be like in just a few years. 60 Minutes had to pay, or CBS News had to pay money or chose to pay money to try and get a merger done. And now CBS News is going to be run by Barry Weiss from the Free Press. Like, it feels like this is a huge moment, and that and I'm not putting this on you, but it feels like the New York Times of the world, the CNNs of the world, the NBC Newses of the world are collectively not. And I don't know what I wanted them to do. Scream louder.
I was literally going to be like, "What do you want? What do you want?"
No, and I'm sympathetic.
I am not taking this personally, and I will tell you, I will tell you a story in a second. But I want to know what would make you feel better.
For print media, it would make me feel better. And I know, and this is always nitpicky stuff, and people pick apart headlines that the word lie is used. That something that the president is not constitutionally allowed to do in the lead, right? The president, again, lied that he won the 2020 election, as an example. What did he say he was going to do the other day? I can't even...
Get rid of windmills for the whales or something?
But stuff like that. The windmills things feels...
I know.
Secondary.
Being silly.
But, like, he'll say... Or, like, the president failed to list a... legal justification for blowing up a boat of 11 people in the middle of the ocean that may or may not have drugs on it. Like, it feels like a framing issue, and it feels a lot of times as if it's like, well, half the people watching probably like that he did that, so let's try and cover it that way, even if, again, there's no legal justification for it, or let's not get sued by him because he didn't like the way this segment was edited, and I'm not saying Zaslav's calling you and telling you be nice to Trump, but it does feel like there's this, we're going to just keep this balancing act going until such time as it's illegal to criticize him or whatever it is.
Look, I mean, this is, I'm going to answer the question, but I will also say, like, when something's that far above my pay grade, like, I can't opine on CBS, on ABC. I can't. Like, I can say, do I like journalists being targeted? No. Do I like networks being sued? No. Do I think people have probably adjusted what they're doing because of it? Yes. So what does that mean for me? what that means for me is, I am honored by this, actually. There are classes within, I'm sure every network does it, but there's like a course you can take by our awesome legal counsel about media law and like how to get it right. This was way before all of this started. Like, and something that a segment that I did is used as an example, where it was, again, during 2016, two people were on, and one made an accusation, completely insane accusation, like conspiracy theory, but speaking about like sexual things about the other person who was on the show, on the segment. And it's in that moment, going through my head was not, oh my God, we're going to get sued. I just said, like, stop. We don't even have the reporting on that. Like, bring your facts or don't. And that's it. It's like, I try my damnedest to not get over my skis, ahead of my skis. And if you don't know, just say you don't know. And like, and give attribution, because that's also what we're supposed to be doing anyway. So that's how I do it. I do not wake up and think I don't want to get sued today. Maybe I should, but I don't. But I will say, the way, even the word mainstream media bothers me so much, because it is this like, it's like a curse word and a pejorative, and it's like all this bad stuff. When, what does it mean? Like, it's all, media is media. Journalists are journalists. Networks are networks. And it has become, and the rhetoric around it, and it did, yes, it started before, obviously, because I remember it's been called the Clinton News Network for a long, before Donald Trump came about. But obviously it was put on steroids with how Trump talked about it. And that is the thing that became a real problem. I mean, I'm not, I'm me. I'm not a fire breather, as we've discussed. And I have had like risks against my children because
online or like
problems. No, I mean, no, in real life, like there are threats and gross things that people want to do to me online every day.
Because you're fake news CNN? Because like that?
Because I'm fake. One, I'm a woman. Mm-hmm. Two, I'm fake news CNN. And three, like I dare to wear a tank top on television because I got, I work out a lot and I've got great arms. Like, so I should be,
allowed to do that.
I should be raped and left in an alley or something. But problems for the safety of around my kids, because I am a member of the fake news. So if you say it enough, it does become a problem. That's where I draw the line. Like, forget legal. And that's the thing that I actually think people need to start remembering. Because during the 2016 election, I grew up in Indiana. I'm one of 4 girls, and my dad wanted a boy, so I became the boy. I hunt with him. I'm a duck hunter, and there are men that are like second fathers to me since I was, 7 years old and sitting in the duck blind with them. And I've, the only network I've ever worked for is CNN, and I've been here now for a long time. We'd still hunt. We'd still, one of my dad's besties, these guys named like Wild Bill, and he's like my dad. 16 comes around. One of the guys, not Wild Bill, Wild Bill's the best. One of the guys won't hunt with me anymore. He won't sit in the blind with me anymore. And I don't know if you guys have ever, if you're from kind of that culture, but that's a big deal. It's a big deal for us, for my dad and I. And it ended up being like, my father was like, you have to talk to him because this is like a thing. And I asked when we were back at the hunt house, I asked him, Tell me why you won't hunt with me. I mean, I knew that answer, but I was trying to break the ice. Because you are a member of the fake news. Because you work for the enemy and you are just lying every day. I said, have you watched me? I've never watched you. Why would I watch that network? Have you ever heard anything I've done? No. Then how can you say that as a rational, very smart human being? How can you make that argument? And he says, because I can't. I said, do me a favor. Do this for my dad. Watch me next week. Watch me for a week. And then we're going to talk next time I'm up. And it broke the ice. And we hunt together again. Because it was human to human, and it wasn't mainstream media, words. It's all the labels.
Yeah, that's very effective.
But this matters today and with everything. Like, things will be better. Things will be better with Donald Trump as president, without Donald Trump as president, if people try to start talking again to each other in a way that is more authentic than, like, sometimes how I see people talk about it in the news and on TV.
Yeah. Would you assess that sort of, like, this relationship you have, did that, you're hunting again together, and that seems to be fine. Has he sort of acknowledged, like, oh, maybe it's not just this one person who I know personally and have this relationship with their father and all this history that isn't lying CNN? Like, did that, because we talk a lot about sort of, these different sides of the aisle and being able to maintain personal relationships and still try to, like, bring us all back to a collective reality in some way. Mm-hmm. And that is a big challenge for a lot of people. And one thing I think that is frustrating for some people is like, oh yeah, I convinced them, like, I'm not lying, CNN or whatever, but that didn't necessarily click of, like, oh, maybe the president was lying to me that all of CNN is fake news. Like, maybe because I have this personal relationship and because I did watch her for a week and now we're cool, maybe there's something more that I need to also realize to sort of bridge that gap.
Yes to some. Yes for some. Yes for some people. Very close to me, yes. No for others. Some people very close to me, it's you're good. You're good.
You're one of the good ones on. But
you're one of the good ones, yeah. But part of the problem with that is, and it's a long term, and it's hard because the difference, there's no, like, prime time now, right? Like, people watch on their phones when this is one of the questions, kind of, as this industry transitions, is the difference between, I don't know, what would you label me? Like a straightforward news person, right? Like a straightforward anchor, whatever.
I think fake news, Clinton News Network.
Yeah, I think
that one.
you're a member
so
of the fake news.
Yeah,
right. So that
lying.
versus people who come, like, their show is literally about opinion, right? Their show is, I'm opinionated.
Yes.
And
the Bill O'Reillys of the world.
You're
or
here
whoever,
to see my opinion. And there's the version on CNN, there's a version on MS. That has confused people who are not who are not news junkies, who are not, like, the avids. They're like, so if that person is throwing their opinion around all the time, and that's the point, then all of you guys are all throwing opinions around.
Well, then I imagine because it's also muddy on Fox specifically, right? They still maintain we have our opinion people and we have our straight news people, but you watch the straight news stuff on Fox News, and it's clearly there's a sprinkling, at the very least, of opinion, if
story
not
selection.
Jesse Waters.
Story selection is everything. Like,
stuff.
what topics you talk about shows things. Yeah.
Right. They're not showing the RFK hearing this morning. I wonder why. But, like,
correct.
They're talking about Sydney Sweeney and Cracker Barrel or whatever.
Still?
Cracker Barrel.
I don't know, maybe.
Before we wrap up, I think since we don't get this opportunity, you get to talk to many more powerful people than we do. Can we ask you to ask some questions for us of them?
Yes. I actually love that. What? That's so cool. I love that. Yes.
Perfect.
I mean,
excellent.
you won't like the questions, but
I'm not going to tell you who I'm going to ask it or when I'm going to ask it, because for the record, I also don't pre-approve questions, even though lots of people still ask to get questions ahead of time.
Good.
But I always say there are good questions coming from everybody. Go. What are
Excellent. Well, for starters, I think anytime someone from Congress is on, I think what you were saying earlier about how like you've kind of abdicated your responsibility, you've blown this whole thing, have them face that information and just sort of address that problem generally.
I actually really like that. I like an interview. See, it's about framing, right? Like I do like an interview going, this was Congress's responsibility. Why not? Why do you not want that responsibility anymore? This was Congress's responsibility. Why not? I like raising that more often.
So many things, especially the last 9 months, have been that where it's like, but everybody's reporting that he can't do that without you saying he can. Why aren't you even in this current situation where like, well, Republicans have Congress, so they're obviously going to do whatever Trump wants them to do. Even though shouldn't you still be saying that like, well, he can't do that without our approval, but obviously we're going to be little worms and let him do it anyway. Maybe don't call them little worms to their faces, but that's
having
up
them
to your
answer
discretion.
having people answer to why when all you want is power. You don't care now about having power, even if you act. That's a good question.
You've given up your power for this other weird kind of power that you will have up until you make him angry, basically.
When none of you will even talk about term limits because you want your power so much, you're really just cool of handing another one over.
Exactly. So speaking of term limits, I have a question for Ted Cruz. If you ever get to talk to Ted Cruz again, it's a long one, and I'm sorry.
I won't ask it then. Have you noticed? Do you know the entire point is to ask as short a question as possible? You don't have to prove how smart you are. You just ask the question.
Oh, I know. The question is in the preparation, basically. Okay, so Ted Cruz.
This is a podcast. We really let it breathe.
Oh, yeah.
I clearly need to learn. Got it.
Mr. Cruz, Senator Cruz. In the middle of this year, August 2025, you introduced a constitutional amendment imposing term limits on members of Congress in both the Senate and the House. Your statement about it reads, "Term limits are critical to fixing what's wrong with Washington, D.C. The Founding Fathers envisioned a government of citizen legislators who would serve for a few years and return home, not a government run by a small group of special interests and lifelong, permanently entrenched politicians who prey upon the brokenness of Washington to govern in a manner that is totally unaccountable to the American people." This statement is verbatim what you said when you introduced the same amendment in 2023 before running for a third term in the Senate. You introduced the same amendment in 2021 and first introduced it in 2017 during your first term. The amendment limits House representatives to 3 terms and senators to 2 terms. The amendment also contains the text, "No term beginning before the date of the ratification of this article shall be taken into account in determining eligibility for election or appointment under this article." This means that if the amendment is somehow passed during this, your third term, you are allowing yourself to be a senator through 2036 for a total of about 24 years. So my question, if you haven't figured it out yet, is do you understand how, to the average person, all of this makes you seem like a slimy little worm who believes in nothing? If not, why?
That's the end of the question. I can email it to you if you...
We will copy paste it.
I was trying to take some notes.
You can adjust the end a little bit if you feel you need to. But
thank you.
Scuzzy instead of slimy is fine if you want to.
Yeah.
I appreciate the ability to edit slightly.
Yeah, weasel instead of worm. Whatever you wanna.
Dude, okay. One, asking why one would propose a term limits and not do it is totally legit. But also, I had Jerry Nadler on today to talk about why he's retiring from the House, longest serving one of the longest serving members in the House. And he has said in his announcement that it is because he wants to pass it along to the next a new generation. And he said to me that it is watching Joe Biden convinced him it was time to start doing this. And so time to start passing it to the next generation. And so this is why he's making this decision. So age I mean, he's been in Congress for 34
1992.
years.
That's pretty wild.
And he stayed collectively in public office for 50 years. So Jerry Nadler is obviously has also not been pushing a term limits. But it raises the question, how old is too old to run and hold office? And even though Jerry Nadler, 78, is retiring now, he said he wouldn't answer the question. He said, age and experience, like everyone ages differently. Not wrong, but this is the third oldest Congress of like all time. Still, he's like, I'm too old. I'm leaving now. But I'm not going to tell anybody. I mean, there are lots of older people than him to do the same. Like, it's because on a collective and individual level, members of Congress just like won't stick their neck out.
Right. The like people overwhelmingly.
Why is Ted Cruz doing it? Because he can put it because he can put it on his website, because it's something that you hear a lot of. Actually, it's a bipartisan issue, Democrats and Republicans, but it's something that Republicans clearly say, term limits.
And he can tweet about it.
I'm proposing term limits.
And if it ever does go through, he's got his podcast that is still going on, even though it's based on the Cody.
I believe it's still called The Verdict, about the first round of impeachments. Yeah.
So he's got his gig set up. So.
But I mean, term limits, great question. It is actually one of the things I'm asked about most by real people, not TV people or podcasters. Are you guys real people? Are you real?
I think so.
I get asked most about term limits.
And if you're proposing an amendment that is like term limits, but not yet. All the terms that we've served so far don't count in these 100%. Term limits. Absurd.
And I'm gonna like breaking news, inside information. There are lawmakers who put out bills and do it because they're going to run. They're going to be up for re-election soon, and they don't believe it. They don't believe in that bill.
Of course.
So,
of course.
You're saying there's a deep cynicism in Washington that.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, it's like
I know.
I'm
sorry. I'm breaking your heart and shattering your reality. Right.
Yeah, it's banning Congress people from owning stocks and naming it the Pelosi Act. Well, they're not going to vote for that. You're just trolling them. That's not. You don't actually believe in passing this.
What is your next 75-part question?
Okay. This one's very short, actually. This is for JD Vance. I'm so sorry. It's for JD Vance.
Are you talking with JD Vance soon? Is that happening?
Yeah. Yes. I mean.
Okay. Good. Yeah.
Excellent.
Great.
Perfect. Okay. So, Mr. Vance, Vice President, whatever you want to call him, JD, since becoming vice.
This is the part you're still debating. I mean, just answer the question.
There's so many options.
Verbatim. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you have to be like JD Vance, Mr. Whatever. Since becoming vice president, have you made any progress on stopping people from eating other people's dogs and cats in Springfield, Ohio? Do you have any plans to visit?
Stop right there. Remember that happened.
Yeah, he cared about it so much. It was this bizarre lie that he wanted everyone to believe, and cared about it so much they made an entire debate period about it. I haven't heard him talk about it recently or at all since then.
This is one of those things when I was like, I'm on television saying what? Like, this is a news story. My first side note, we're overtime. I know you guys hate me already. One of my favorite jobs, which is hilarious considering the conversation right now, was being a Capitol Hill reporter for CNN. And one of my first live shots, I believe, for the network was Anthony Weiner's underpants.
Oh, those were the days.
I sat there,
the bygone era.
like, I'm no longer the weekend general assignment reporter. I have made it to Capitol Hill.
Hell yeah, we're doing Weiner's.
And I'm sitting there prepping for a live shot going, do I say underwear? Do I say underpants? And do I say penis? Do I say junk? How many synonyms are there for what I'm about to say?
What did you say?
What did you land on?
I went between I think I said underwear because underpants sounded
like a little baby.
Still childish.
Like a baby. Yeah, it sounded like a baby. I didn't say junk. I didn't. I thought better of that. There is no AP style guide on what to do. I'm just kidding. So Yeah. And I remember that was the first time, like, I am going to say so many weird things in this job. And that was one of them. Eating the dogs. Yes, that is a great question. But it also speaks to full circle, drinking from the fire hose.
Right. You don't want to feed into it. You don't want to help.
No, I'm saying there's so much that comes at you. That was not that long ago.
Oh, yeah. That was
it's like memory hold and,
And it was so important to them. It was integral to their campaign up until the election, basically. Mm-hmm. And I haven't heard him talk about it ever since.
Probably say we solved it because we deported.
We deported all of them.
Took away the temporary protected status of Haitians.
ICE actually arrested all the cats and dogs.
Answer this question, but
because by the way, it's always best to ask questions that you're going to answer it to yourself. You do that a lot.
Well, we gotta make sure you know our answer.
Okay, what else? Is there more?
If you ever get the chance to talk to Trump, he'll be mad at you, and you'll probably get threats.
Well, you're being very disrespectful, and you're like, I just sat down. What is going on?
I blinked. I just blinked. What?
I would love to ask him. You
wait. Can I? Okay, strategy. If you were interviewing Donald Trump, would you, per a lot of our conversation that we've had for the last 795 minutes, would you stay on one question until it is answered? A la my conversation with Stephen Miller. Would you ask or not? Because that's basically your decision tree.
Well, right. If you ask Trump a question, you know the answer to it, kind of, but you also know he's not going to answer that or any question. He's going to say things, and
he's going to weave. Yeah.
I don't know what the point is. But
why ask a question when you know the answer then?
I think there is value for some people in seeing it, right? You see, here's a question. That was a good question. I would like the answer to that question. Oh, he didn't answer that question. He was kind of weird and evasive about it. And, whether you push them and sort of it gets very contentious and back and forth, or that's it, then you have, I gave them the opportunity. People heard the question, and now they have that question in their mind, and maybe they can answer it. Maybe they can sort of think about, why didn't he answer that? Why was it so difficult for him to answer this very direct question? But it is, I think it depends on the question.
The way you just said that, I think, is the most important thing. And that's no. Mm. The question of why is it so hard to answer this question?
Right.
Why are you scared to answer this question? Why do I make you so uncomfortable you don't want to answer this question?
Right, and I think
that's a good to
question. A certain point, maybe repeating the question is like a little much. Like, all right, he's not going to answer it. It can get frustrating.
Well,
but
because then you are going on one side of the line of clickbait.
Exactly.
Are you,
ask it. Oh, you didn't answer it. Maybe make it clear. Like, so to be clear, you're not answering this question. And then moving on. So people I see the question. I see him evading it. I see him confirming that he's not going to answer it. Next attempt, because these are all attempts. He's never going to answer a question that isn't like, why are you so great at your job?
I am great at my job.
So here's my question. And we can
why are you so great at your job?
Well, that's
because I am just, what do they call them? I'm like Ron Burgundy. I just read what's on the teleprompter. Isn't that what everyone says about me?
Just gotta read it.
Okay, so my question for Trump is, after the news conference where several Epstein accusers told their stories, you were asked about it, and you called it a Democrat hoax. What's the hoax specifically?
Yeah, I have one of the survivors on today. And I asked her how that made her feel. And it actually makes me sad. She goes, "I'm not a hoax." And I was like,
yeah,
of course, yeah.
It's like, made me feel so bad for her, right? Like, not, and then was the thing, she was like, she doesn't need my tears, I feel so bad for you. But like, the fact that like someone who's been through so much is now having to be like, I'm not a hoax, is like, That sucks.
Yeah.
So yes, that is a question that is deserved, but it's also forget that. Forget the answer because it's a lie. Just play what this woman said to me today. That's the answer.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's horrible, horrifying.
It's just, and that's the thing. It's also real. There's the politics, and then there are the real people, which is that is what gets so forgotten is the real people.
Yeah, I think not necessarily about this issue, which is its whole horrifying thing, but I think that's also sort of what we were talking about a little earlier, where all these issues we're talking about, the ICE raids, all the unconstitutional stuff that Trump's doing, economic stuff, cutting Medicaid, and going on talking about how Social Security is a Ponzi scheme and we need to get rid of it, whatever people say, all that stuff does, especially in this second version of his administration, it so affects people's lives in real ways. That people are feeling now
story.
and
that's
later.
More important. That's the more important thing, especially at a time when it's like, if every story if every segment I do starts with says the words President Trump, Donald Trump, President Trump, Donald Trump, President Trump, Donald Trump, that can become white noise, and people. It doesn't matter where you sit on the political spectrum, people are tuning it out because they know how they feel. But these are the stories that matter. The actual real people. That is the news that this is what you do. This is what you do. You have real people on and ask real people questions. About
the real things that are happening and affecting them. And I think there's some of the frustration is like with again, not with this sort of like we're reporting the news, we're saying this, we're doing these interviews, but in these more free-form debate type shows, or like roundtable sort of discussions, it can often seem kind of like theater, like a game where like, oh, I get my talking point, and like you were saying, like people want to go viral, they want to get their like clip out there, instead of just like saying facts or like reporting information. And it gets so frustrating to see because, oh, you're like doing your little smirky thing and you're making your point and you're trying to get people to listen to your podcast or whatever it is. But these are real things and they are really affecting people's lives. And I think it can be, it seems sometimes where it's like, okay, so the camera cuts and then they're like, oh, great viral thing. I hope that goes big. Like it seems, and again, this isn't about you, but it seems fake almost, where it's like, oh, you're playing your little part and you're having your little argument and stuff. Then you go home. This is affecting people's lives. So
yes, some of that happens.
Is it like, that like,
but not, I'm not saying I don't do that.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not like accusing you.
I'm not. No, you're not accusing me. I'm saying like there are just a lot of different people in this business, right? And a lot of different people in this business for different reasons. And a lot of people, like, I was just crying. Like that's because when you stop feeling emotion, like when it stops being authentic, get out. And yes, I'm saying this like. Altruistically, this would be every single moment that I am doing my job. I'm having these real conversations, right? Days are different. There are lots of different days. Yeah. Lots of different days. And in the realm of like, from a political panel, which I think is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Versus a conversation having it with Liz Stein. Two different things. One I would like to do a lot more of, and one I would like to do a lot less of. And we make those choices on a daily basis.
Well, Kate, thank you so much for being here and giving up some of your time after you did a full morning of work. Do you have, other than watch my show, do you have anything you want to plug to our audience?
No.
You gotta.
Wouldn't that be antithetical to literally everything we were just talking about?
Now's your opportunity.
But you're like on TV. Like you don't need this.
Okay. Watch, consume news. That's all. Consume news and check your sources because there are lots of sources that need checking. And yeah, that's it.
Assign your own Pinocchios.
Exactly. And yeah, you can have short and you can go long form or short form. You can 3 hours of nutso, which would be me, or 5 minutes of nutso, which is 5 things. So pick your poison of Crazy Kate.
All right. Well, thank you very much. And Cody and me and Katy, who you heard at the beginning, will be back for news after ads or
2 seconds
or
from
a
now,
transition jingle.
Yeah.
Jingle.
Okay.
If you're anything like me, you hate shaving. I mean, having to do it here all the time, plus the whole face if I'm doing one of those famous characters we all know and love, but it's not a burden anymore if you can find a razor that doesn't cause irritation and is affordable. That's what Harry's razors are all about. Harry's is the best of both worlds. A barbershop quality shave with German engineered blades and a sleek ergonomic handle at literally half the price of other premium razors. Why, with a good shave from a Harry's razor, I'm volunteering to play my classic character Uncle Funkin' stuff every week. But how, you ask? How are they able to keep the razors so affordable? Well, my funkin' heads, that's because they own their own factory, so they can cut out the middleman and charge less for the highest quality razors. And don't get me started on shave gel, deodorant, and body wash, but now that you brought it up, they've got great shave gel, deodorant, and body wash. I'm feeling so fresh. I might just perform every episode as my classic smooth-faced character, Gerald the Friendly Hippo. For a limited time, our audience can get Harry's trial set for only $8 plus a free gift at harrys.com/SMN. Just head over to harrys.com/SMN to receive our exclusive discount. After you purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them, so please support our show and tell them our show sent you. We sent you. Do it now or else I won't shave, and the only character you're gonna get is Cranky James Mangold. Everyone hated that guy, but he's still fun to play.
Help! 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 I'm stuck in the summer of cinema and I can't get out! It's been only a few months for you, but for me, it's been 99 years. 99 years of only the hottest summer action movies. And I can't get out of the summer cinema time loop. They should make a movie about it. Because if they did, it would definitely go on Pluto TV. It would fit right in with all these other hot action movies I tell you about every week. Movies like Gladiator, Beverly Hills Cop, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, Die for Death, The Bountiful Boys of Bridgeport, Subtraction, The Legendary Discovery of a Second Operation, Good Burger, Fill My Tum with Xanthan Gum, Bloodsport 5, Kumite Resurrection, Star Trek, Four Brothers, The Sharpest Tooth, The Weakest Tongue, Other Mouth Stuff, Weekend at Bernie's 3, A Very Prone Companion, and Stealth. With movies like these, would you even want to leave the summer of cinema? Nah, brah. Nah. So bring the action with you and stream for free on all your favorite devices. Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never. This ad is brought to you by Vive Healthcare, the makers of Apritude, cabotegravir. You never skip your SPF, and you carry hand sanitizer like an accessory. But what are you doing for HIV prevention? One way to help protect yourself from HIV is Apritude, a prescription medicine used to reduce the risk of getting HIV in adults and adolescents weighing at least 77 pounds. You must be HIV negative to receive Apritude and get tested before each injection. If you think you were exposed to HIV or have flu-like symptoms, tell your doctor right away. More HIV testing may be needed. Apritude does not prevent other sexually transmitted infections. Practice safer sex to reduce your risk. Get Apritude as scheduled. Missing doses increases your HIV risk. Don't take Apritude if allergic to it or taking certain medicines that may interact. Tell your doctor about your medical conditions, liver problems, and mental health. Serious side effects include allergic reactions or rash, liver problems, and depression. If these occur, get medical help right away. The most common side effect is injection site reaction. Bring your A game and talk to your doctor. Learn more at aptitude.com or call 1-888-240-0340. Jonathan, what's going on in the news?
Oh, that. Yes, the news. We got lots of stuff. Oh, boy. So, yeah.
Is it good? Is it good?
I don't know. What do you mean good? Bad?
I don't know.
The news?
It's all relative.
Please. So Wednesday morning, several of Jeffrey Epstein's victims spoke at a news conference outside the Capitol to detail their abuse and ask Congress to force the release of all the Epstein files held by the DOJ and FBI. The conference was organized by Representatives Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna, who are behind the petition to force a House vote on getting all those Epstein files. Democrats are like, yes, let's do it. Only 4 Republicans have signed on to this. It's called the discharge petition. Thomas Massie, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, and Nancy Mace.
So weird. You'd think they'd want to get all those Dems that are implicated, since this is a massive Dem cover-up, obviously. You'd think that the Republicans would want this.
Yeah, well, I think the Republicans in general do, but there's one major...
I know.
There's one major roadblock here. This was a pretty emotional press conference. A lot of victims speaking, many publicly for the first time, about the abuse they endured. So Trump was not accused by anyone of sexual assault at this news conference. However, one victim said that Epstein used to brag that he was friends with Trump and had a framed photo of him. The victims have said they would consider putting together their own client list with details, which would be released by Massie and Greene through the House if the DOJ does not release anything. And actor Anuska DeGiorgio, who has previously talked about Epstein's abuse, said, quote, "To be clear, the only motive for opposing this bill would be to conceal wrongdoing." So you can glean from that some things, if you would like to. So the White House does oppose it.
Interesting.
How come?
Huh.
Well, they've got some reasons that they have.
Yeah. What are they trying to trot out?
Well, a White House official told NBC News that if any Republican signs on to the discharge petition, that it would be considered, quote, a very hostile act to the White House.
That's wild language. That is wild language.
Can't be saying that.
They say one excuse is that Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna are just attention seeking with this, so we don't want to feed into that. Another is that they care so much about victims, and this would expose the identities of victims who don't want to go public.
That can't possibly be it, given everything from that man's life.
Simply redact those names.
Yeah, just redact those names.
Don't redact the perpetrators. Redact the victims.
Simple
names.
solution.
I don't know if they know about redactions or, whatever. They don't give a shit about victims. But yes, they're grasping for any reason to be against this in general. And I guess it's as good a reason as any to say, well, we don't want to give the Democrats a win.
It's so stinky. That's the word. It is. It smells. It stinks. And I genuinely, at this point, I think there are plenty of people that are outraged in theory or have been about the Epstein drama saga. But when push comes to shove, they've never been concerned about whether or not Donald Trump was a sexual predator, because it's always been clear. But the more they do this, the harder it is for people to ignore. And I although if you look online, which is always the downfall, it is pretty depressing.
They're ignoring it. It's over.
I genuinely did not expect. Oh, I expected some, but the amount of people saying, well, why aren't you just saying the names right now on mic to these women? Well, if you've got something to hide, this smells fishy. That's what smells fishy, is that people are threatening to come forward with the information if the government officials don't do their job. or if there isn't transparency, that's what seems
to
fishy.
protect themselves, maybe.
Right, to protect themselves. What possible reason could a victim have for feeling insecure about or terrified of releasing this information when there's such wonderful people out there, such as you?
Yeah, especially when it's specifically about Donald Trump. Like, why would somebody not want to publicly attack Donald Trump if they don't have to?
Why? Thomas Massey even tweeted about them compiling their own list. He said they would be sued into homelessness for naming names, but Marjorie Taylor Greene and I are willing to name names in the House of Representatives under constitutional speech or debate immunity. So he's seeming to suggest, like, oh yeah, they don't feel comfortable doing that here. 1, lawsuits. 2, if they name Donald Trump, threats against their lives. I mean, I'm sure they're already terrified because this is seen as it's seen as a shot at Donald Trump, even though why is it a shot at Donald Trump? Like, Trump was out there and they asked him about it today because he's alive, by the way. And
what a bummer that was, right?
Yeah, he's just fine. He's normal, whatever.
Oh, he's fine and normal. Yeah.
They asked him about it today and he's like, well, that's just a Democrat. It's the Democrat hoax. And there's not follow-up. Like, what part's the hoax? Do you believe that none of them are victims at all? That Jeffrey Epstein wasn't an abuser? That the whole thing is a hoax? Or is it a hoax that you did something wrong? Because that's not what any of these people have said.
No one's actually saying that. Well,
he has still not made clear what the hoax is. If it's one perpetrator the hoax part? Is it all of them? Is it a specific victim that is faking it? Or is it all of them? Or is it none of them? What do you mean by Democrat hoax? You're the one with the entire party and movement that has been obsessed about this for years. Are you all dupes? Is this the thing that you were duped by? You were duped by this hoax, or what's going on there? I do question involving Marjorie Taylor Greene in this at all.
Sure.
I will say, good for her, I guess, for continuing on this path. It does seem like she thinks that there's clearly something wrong here and that it's bad. So that's good that she thinks it's bad. But it does seem like she doesn't want to acknowledge the possibility of Trump's involvement. And if she is the one with Massey sort of like being like, well, we'll release the names, I don't trust that she would see his name and release it. I think Massey is probably more in the camp of somebody who would do that, but it makes it a little gummy.
That would be a way for this to go. That would be a way for this to end, is out of all the people to defect and say, I've got the evidence that this man's a rapist and I'm out. For her to do that, it would be, I'm not holding my breath, but that would really be something.
Oh yeah, it's one of those, it's the kind of thing like if you're faced with it, you're in private. It's not even like they're doing a gotcha on TV or you're like whatever. It's like, no, you're in private and you're reading this information. You need to contend with this. It would be nice if she did do that. We'll see, I guess. Like you said, not holding my breath. But then, Nancy Mace walked out of the press conference. It's very hard for her.
Was it a press conference? It was a meeting.
It was the meeting that
survivors were saying specifics of their stories, and she walked out. Yeah, I don't like Nancy Mace, but I also don't love the way some of the reactions online were like, well, no, she's been open about her sexual assault and that trauma that was fairly recent. And I think the real takeaway should be that's a testament to how horrific it is that these stories, when you hear them, the specifics are monstrous.
Yes.
You're playing politics and then something confronts you and it's bigger than that.
Right. And that's sort of, what we're seeing. And I don't know what will happen. It's hard to hear, and you're going through all, like, your trauma and your experiences stuff. And again, it's that, like, when you're faced with that, you've been doing, like you're saying, you've been doing play acting. You've been play acting this whole time, and so many people have hitched their ride to the Trump train for all these different kinds of reasons. But the Trump train is heading towards everybody, and some some people can get out of the way. Some people can realize like, oh my God, this train is horrible. I need to get off. And it's just a matter of if is that going to happen or not. So we'll see, I guess. I question Donald Trump's honesty regarding this, I guess.
What?
That's shocking.
What?
That can get you deported, Cody.
Look, I'm in front of the background. I gotta be fair, balanced, straightforward.
Question what?
He seems like he has something to hide, maybe. I don't know. Only this, though. Only about this. This is the only thing.
Okay.
Otherwise,
I don't know that
guy.
That menswear guy on Twitter pointed out that his suit jacket
his
wasn't
arms a
fitting
little
quite
weird.
right on the
I don't know what that's
And you know what? He's right. It is looking weird, but
It looks
also
weird.
photos are weird.
I mean,
and
it looks
he's
like
a
his arm
lumpy,
has been like
strange.
deflated.
It does. For a second there, I thought, I'm like, well, what would the mechanics of this be?
Well,
That
right.
His arm is hidden and there's a fake arm, and I was like, well, his hand seems to be cut out of the shot, so
People
maybe
were
he's
like,
walking.
people were like, "What are you implying?" And he's like, "I'm not implying anything. It's just
I'm
that
not implying
sleeves don't
anything."
really fall that way." And maybe he isn't implying anything, but if he is, I don't know what it's implying. That
I don't
it's
know
like
what it is.
That
Right.
it's an inflatable arm.
He's
or
like
something.
He's
Judge
like-
Doom under there, and he just needs to like pump himself up.
And if it was a fake arm, why would he make the fake arm still have the weird discoloration on the same hand?
It's not checking out. Anyway, we should get to some other news.
I mean, they're getting rid of vaccines in Florida.
My
Vaccine
God.
mandates in Florida. To be clear, everyone's
What did they say?
celebrating.
Liberation from the slavery. What
tyranny.
was the quote?
It's medical tyranny.
No, Florida Surgeon General Joseph Ladapo said the state's moving to end all vaccine requirements in the state completely. He said every last one of them is wrong and drips with disdain and slavery.
I was right.
So if this goes through, it means
I
K through.
don't think that Florida understands the definition of slavery.
I don't think they do either. What a wild situation.
Well,
for
you're a
our-
slave to not having pertussis, I suppose. If it's your choice to get pertussis, you are enslaved
want
with
the
the not
freedom.
having of it.
We need the freedom to get polio and measles. Come on, folks.
Yeah, no, this is bad.
It is bad. We make jokes around here, but you talk to any one of us, but talk to your elders or people that have lived through times and have experienced what life was like without the polio vaccine, etc. This is too wild to come up with a word to describe it. Go ahead, Cody. You got something.
No, it's just terrible. And it's one of those things. This is just how it happens. Like they meant the COVID vaccine, mRNA vaccines, but now it's just all vaccines, and it happened so quickly. They went from this terrible, tyrannical COVID vaccine that Donald Trump helped make. And now it's just get rid of all of them. It is very terrible and terrifying.
This is another one of those things where 15 years ago, we laughed at the anti-vax crowd. I mean, maybe that was our fatal flaw. We still do.
Still do and should.
But
yes.
I mean, it felt unthinkable. You, in the way that you would laugh at the flat earthers.
I was going to say, it's like if Texas was like, no, the earth is flat officially.
Right.
We officially recognize
it is
the earth
literally
flat.
like that.
But it's so much more
anyway,
dangerous than that.
Exactly. Because if somebody wants to test that, they'll just keep walking and they won't fall off the side of the planet. Cody, what is Rob Schneider's tweet? Rob Schneider?
Rob Schneider. Also before, it is also interesting timing considering that in just a couple of weeks, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is going to release his report that he's been preparing or studying for months about how, spoilers, vaccines cause autism is what the report is going to say. So it is not lost on me that this announcement was made in the month that they are going to release a bunch of misinformation about vaccines so that other states do this as well. Speaking of other states, Rob Schneider tweeted out, "I have prayed to God for this medical tyranny to please come to an end. And in Florida, my prayers have been answered." It's so funny to me that a guy from Arizona is praying to God and God's like, okay, in Florida, And he's like, my prayer has been answered. What a beautiful tweet.
Wouldn't you just pray for no diseases to exist? I mean, listen,
that would be a better
far
prayer.
be it from me to say how prayers should or do work. I leave that to other people. I don't want any part of it. But if you're praying for something, to me, just go, like, let's get rid of the
think
base
bigger,
problem,
buddy.
right? Yeah,
Yep.
let's think bigger. No more diseases.
Well, because you got 1/50th of what you wanted, no vaccine mandates in one state. So if you can get 1/50th of no more diseases, that's really, really good.
But no, that's why this is such a big thing, is that all 50 states and DC have vaccine requirements for kids to go to public school. All of them. So Florida's going to be the first, and they're going to say no DTaP or TDAP, MMR, polio, chickenpox, unless you show that your kid had chickenpox already. Like, the measles thing is, I guess, what we would see first. It'll probably, we're already seeing outbreaks, but if this goes through and then 4 or 5 years goes by and the vaccine coverage is down to like 85, 83% in Florida, and Disney World is there, I think we're going to see some like measles outbreak. Like, it's going to be really bad and kids are going to die. And then you would think like, okay, well then that's awful. Some kids will die, but then at least they'll see the error of their ways and go back. But we just had a COVID where it's clear that the vaccine people did way better than the non-vaccine people, and it didn't matter. So I think they're going to have a huge stomach for the death of children, and it breaks my heart.
That is definitely a possibility. I do have a weird hope. I don't know what this feeling is, but I feel like some of the... I've seen somebody else point this out before. If COVID presented itself as more of a physical disease, like, oh, you get pox, or you get like, there's something physical that happens to you that isn't just like, oh, internally I feel bad, I'm coughing or whatever. I had COVID, it fucking sucks. It's like it's so bad. But
if you can't just dismiss it as a cold or something.
Right. It was easily dismissed as like, oh, it's like the flu, it's like this, it's like this. But if it's literally like, no, we can see it. We see this effect. It is, it has like, you know, the human, like the sort of repulsive reaction to things, and that sort of like disgust trigger that a lot of these people have and operate their politics entirely from. I feel like that might be something that is actually effective to them, where they see like, oh no, these kids are getting like, I can see it, instead of like, it's a cold,
I can't
whatever.
Ignore it.
I don't know if that will happen. Obviously they're like locked into this, and it's going to be a long time. And like you're saying, even if they do come around, people and kids will die, and that is terrible and horrifying.
They don't care so much about kids dying. They care about kids being born before they die. But when you bring up Disney World, Jonathan, or stuff like that, I do think another way that people might slowly change their mind is seeing economic fallout of some sort of, well, there keeps being measles outbreaks, so people aren't going to Disney World as much, you know, things like that. But I think that would take a long time, and
it's going to all take a long time
when the death touches the money.
Right now a lot of kids are vaccinated, so you start to see their ramifications of this down the line.
Years, but measles is one of those things. There was an article a few months back about one of these outbreaks, and some of the people who had been vaccinated that got it still, just because, you know, there's breakthroughs and you do much better and you survive, but it's still like people who've had it and get over it say you're not prepared for how bad it is. It's measles. Right. Like, you're not like we made a vaccine for this horrible thing for a reason, and there's a reason we don't go ape shit making a vaccine for the common cold, because you get over it and it sucks and whatever. But like, this is not that.
In response to this, we're West Coast. How's the West Coast doing with vaccines? I'm leading you to what I know you're going to talk about.
Well, there are 3 West Coast states. The only 3, California, Oregon, and Washington. They are forming their own health alliance, they're calling it, to review scientific data and make vaccine recommendations. Basically their own CDC, to be like, you don't trust the real CDC anymore because it's RFK's like little playhouse. Do this. I mean, I know Illinois, Pritzker says he's going to try to like get COVID vaccines just for the state. Like, it does seem, as long as they're allowed to, you know, without interference, states are kind of on their own to do this. So, you know, the West Coast Health Alliance is
everything
what
feels
you might
like
have to
he's
start
running
trusting.
for president, but
I mean, that's good that they're trying to do something. It's so depressing, though. Like, the balkanization of our institutions.
Yeah.
It was like, God, which reality do you want to live in?
something. It's something.
But it's
but
something. It's just like a symptom of,
Yeah.
I think down the line, I'm like, well, okay, I don't know. But it's something. It's something for now in this moment in time.
Especially now that Trump knows he can make the Epstein thing go away, that people will stick with him through whatever. You'd think he'd be like, I don't want my signature achievement, Operation Warp Speed, to get shit on. My daughter's coming to me and saying, like, what are you doing with this RFK or whatever, that he could get rid of him and say, folks, the vaccine's great. We like vaccines, folks.
They would change on a dime.
I don't know. There's a lot of people that really like RFK. I mean,
but if Trump
just,
like dug
if Trump
into
did it, I think they'd
for like 2 months and said, knock this stuff off. Vaccines are great. What are you talking about?
They save lives. They do this.
He's in too deep.
Can he do a good thing once in a while?
He did,
and now we're getting
himself from it. Exactly.
And of course he did. Fauci came up to him. He's like, well, if we really, put the pedal down and allocate resources here, we could maybe, usually it's like 18 months minimum. Maybe we could get a vaccine in like 9-10 months. And he's like, do it. I'm going to be a hero for this.
Yeah.
And then they were like, yes. And then they did it. And now I think the CEO of Pfizer, because the CEO of Pfizer is like, don't mess with us, man, is saying Trump should have gotten the Nobel Peace Prize for the vaccine.
For the thing, exactly.
Fine. If we give you the Nobel Peace Prize for the COVID vaccine, can we have it then?
Or would he have to reject it? Like, well, I want it for all my good stuff that I did, not for this evil thing that like
for the 16 wars I stopped. Or
exactly.
Whatever.
Yeah. For stopping the Ukraine-Russia war on day one, like I said I would. September 3rd, by the way.
He's throwing darts at a map and being like, stopped one there.
Yeah, exactly.
Angola.
Peace prize,
they were going at each other. The Angolans, they didn't
gonna
like
get into heaven. Getting into heaven over there. Getting into heaven for that. All right.
Okay, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed that excellent interview and this chit-chat-a-thon. And have a good weekend. And we love you very much.
Bye.